All right, today we're going to go ahead and talk about alcoholism. So in 1993, a young man, he decides that he's going to drive and causes a fatal crash in which it resulted in his death. Alcoholism happens all of the time throughout the world, and there's really no way to describe it. But what happens is you have this, which is how much a normal person will drink during the week. You have about one glass, one bottle, that sort of thing. Like beer, that sort of thing. It's pretty normal. But this, on average, is how much an alcoholic will drink in a day. Alcohol use disorder is described as a relapsing brain issue that causes the person to be unable to participate in everyday occurrences such as jobs, lives, families, that sort of thing. This often results in like an occupational issue, a family issue, a social life, and over 200 diseases are associated with being an alcoholic and alcoholism. You have things like liver disease, cancers, lots of just really awful things that happen over time. In the case of the young man at the beginning, his fault was that he caused an accident that resulted in his own death. This man was my grandfather. The family themselves, back in 1993, on that fateful night, my mother was 10 years old and her sister was 11. They waited at home for their father to get home with their young mother, and he never came back. More than 10% of children in the U.S. have a parent that struggles with alcohol abuse, and that makes them more likely to struggle with the same kind of abuse or different substance abuse later in life. Out of these things, you see emotional problems, you see confidence issues, you see confusion, guilt, self-blame, asking questions like, why is my parent abusive in this way? Why do they drink like this? Is it my fault? Is there something that I do? And this in turn will give them the choice later in life of, will I go down the same road that my parent has gone down in the past? Not only does it affect the children, but the person's work productivity in itself. You see that it causes money struggles because they would rather be drinking and out doing that instead of doing work and participating in that matter. And money issues eventually lead to marital issues. You see infidelity, you see domestic violence come out of this lots of times, and overall nothing good happens in the family in this way. In rehabilitation, we see 1.4 million people in rehab centers at this point in time, actually in 2019, which is up from the 1.1 million in 2009. So we only see an increase as time goes on. In the US, there are 15,000 abuse centers that people can go to, and each one sees roughly 270 patients a day. Worldwide, there's 2.8 million deaths worldwide associated with alcohol and alcoholism. And around the world, the average that an adult will drink is 6.4 liters a day. And then in conclusion, alcohol can start at any age. Alcoholism is at any age and take any life at any point in time. It is dangerous and there's no knowing what will happen. It destroys the body slowly. You'll see cancers arise after time, liver damage, liver disease, that sort of thing. Children have a higher percent of becoming alcoholics in life if a parent has also abused and has suffered that kind of trauma. And you see marriages suffer, you see money suffrage, and the problem is only growing as you see more people entering rehab over time. It's a world issue, and in the case of my grandfather, it was fortunate that on that fateful day he only took the life of himself and not of others. In the case of my mom, she's chosen not to drink ever anymore because she doesn't want to have that same fate. I as well do the same. I don't know much about him. I don't know what his face looks like. I don't remember any of it, but I do remember his addiction. And what I ask you guys is, what are you leaving behind for your next generation? I don't remember his face, but I remember his addiction. Thank you.